Hello. Hello. Wow, what a great energetic start to the video review. That yawn is not indicative of our thoughts of the season, because welcome
Hello
to our Doctor Who review, season 16, aka the Key to Time season. I'm Chris, and what do you want to be? Do you want to be Romana or Fred?
I'm gonna be not Chris.
Alright, come along then, Romana. Never mind. Anyway, hi everyone. Hi. How do? We're recording this for the sake of posterity, for those watching it in the future, in week 4 of UK lockdown during the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic of 2020, which means we've had a bit more free time.
Just a bit.
Just a bit, which means we got through this a bit quicker than we probably would do normally, and fair enough, we're planning to do the same with season 17, just plough through that bad boy. But this is the Key to Time. This is the first story arc season of Doctor Who, where the whole thing is interconnected. What were your thoughts going into this season? Like, were you sort of like, oh, are they going to pull it off? Is it going to be like the modern era with Bad Wolf and Saxon and things like that?
It didn't really dawn on me that it would be... the whole season would be based around one storyline. So it was quite nice. It was surprising and nice. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that aspect of it.
There's a good setup at the top as well. The way it's established in Ribos Operation Part 1.
I thought that would be like 2 stories. There's 2 stories, if you know what I mean.
What do you mean? There's 2 stories.
So like it would be at the opening up for the Key to Time. It would be that episode that
right
4 stories.
Yeah.
And then it would maybe lead on to the next one. And then that would be it. And then it would go on to normal.
Whereas instead the premise is set up in the first 5-10 minutes of the Ribos Operation Part 1. And we're off and running. And it doesn't... I feel like it doesn't take away from the Ribos Operation. It still feels like the Ribos Operation is a full story of its own somehow. Really concise writing, which is why we're going to crack ahead at the very beginning, a very good place to start with, the Ribos Operation. Let's put it there. Ooh, that's different, isn't it, in a way? The Ribos Operation. Would you care to tell the folks at home what the Ribos Operation is about? After the White Guardian says to the Doctor,
so
you must find the Key to Time, bye!
He finds Romana... Oh, how do you say her whole name?
It's not on the back of there, and I can never remember. It's like Romana Trevandalunda. I can't remember. I'll bring it up now.
Lunda. Yeah.
Just call her Fred.
Fred. She appears, and she has like a fragment detector. So the... Go on.
Romana Dravratnalunda.
Yeah.
Let's just say Romana,
Fred.
Shall we? Fred, yeah.
So they end up going to... They find where the fragment is.
Yeah.
And then it disappears.
Yeah.
And it appears somewhere else, and they're like, what? And Romana's like, you don't know how to wear this TARDIS, that's a bit embarrassing.
So it's a knackered old TARDIS, and you also didn't graduate. Screw you, old man, pretty much. But in a very posh way, because it's Mary Tam, who's very elegant.
She's fabulous.
She's very Princess Leia in terms of her wardrobe in this story as well.
She is Sass McGrath.
She is.
But they end up on this planet.
Rebos.
Rebos, yeah, that would make sense. And calamity ensues. Yeah,
the key is disguised as... well, it's given several names. My favourite is Jethric. It's a sort of a glomp of rock that's hidden inside the jewel cabinet within the centre of this castle grounds. It's
like fort castle thing.
Yeah, it's a city. It's city in Ribos. It's like a sort of Mott and Bailey kind of thing. Like the castle walls extend out into the city, and essentially they're apparently a very primitive species, sort of UK medieval kind of place. And they look after their crown jewels, and there's guards who watch them all times, and there's a monster in the room next door to it, just a deterrent in case anyone tries to sneak in.
Like a little dragon kind of thing, yeah.
And, but amidst this thing is a recently added piece of it, which is just this lump of Jethric, which a lot of people see no value in whatsoever, but 2 people do. The Doctor and Romana do, when they realise that, hang on, this detector we've got that finds the fragments of the Key to Time is telling us that's important, so we should probably pay attention to it. And also, there is... I want to get his name right, because he's so freaking extra. What's the character actually called? It's not just the Graf. Yeah, it is the Graf Vindicay. He's a royal who we find out has sort of been shamed away from his family. He's kind of a Prince John-esque character. There's a lot of Robin Hood influence in this series.
Absolutely.
He's a very Prince John-esque character who's... Well, he's more King Richard, but if King Richard was the villain, he's just come back to his people, and his people go, we don't actually need you. Bye. You're horrible. And now he's trying to win his way back by storming his own planet. And the Jethric is worth a lot to him. It's for weapons and munition and all this stuff. He's like, we need it. We're going to buy mercenaries. And those mercenaries are going to storm my planet and take it back.
Yeah.
And if they won't do that, then we'll take another planet and I'll become the king of there. And you're like, Jesus. And he is so extra. And his assistant is Sholak, who's pretty good actually. So the henchman to the villain. He's a very Game of Thronesy kind of role. But this dude, Paul Seed plays him. He just wanders around saying, "No one besmirches the Graf in decay." And I was like, this guy.
Whoa.
This guy might be the MVP of this story, but I don't know because the cast of this one, we'll focus on the guest cast, are pretty damn fun. Garen. He's our con man, isn't he? He's been playing a bunch of parts.
Yeah. He's like learned the
he's playing a lot of roles.
What's it, Vindicay guy?
Vindicay, yeah.
Telling him that
he's like a real estate agent.
Yeah, you can buy the planet.
Yes, you can have it. It's wonderful. Yes, when he talks like this, he's like very good, very good.
But he's actually just trying to fleece him.
Yeah, he
wants the deposit, and then he'll run off.
He's going to bugger right off.
He'll take his stone back and run.
He's got a sort of an assistant who's he keeps referring to him as like young. You're young. You don't know what you're doing with this. This is all new for you. And it's like, I don't know, he looks about 40 or whatever.
No, he doesn't.
And just when he talks in his normal voice, he's still going, "Would you like me?"
Well, yeah. Where's he from? Where was he from?
Well, they talk about it that they've spent time because this is
he
all,
was from Earth.
Yeah, these are all these planets that are spinning out of what do you call it? I can't find exactly.
But... Oh no, that was
no. You're thinking of Drax later, but yeah, no, these are all like Earth colonies that have fallen on and everything, and he's absolutely just sort of like a wheeler dealer con man from like sort of southern England, and that's the vibe. And him and his partner put on a lot of different accents, and it's like, all right. They're absolutely the smartest people there, and the most they're sometimes the smartest and the most stupid people on site. Because they're pushing the con as far as it'll go to get the greatest profit, but they don't know when to stop sometimes, and they get found out. And the thing is, the Ribos Operation of the title is essentially the name of their heist, their scheme. Yeah. They are great. They are so much fun. Robert Holmes writes really good double acts in the stories, and these two are a great one. Plus, the Graf Vindicay and, what do you call it? Sholak, they're a really great double act as well. I want to touch on a couple of the characters really briefly. The Seeker, she was extra.
Oh my god!
She felt like she just rocked up from the local Amdram.
Yeah, she was definitely. To the point where when you first see her, the first shot, she's clearly been told, "Go."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, well, I can see." No.
I see things. Oh yes. Then
Stop
she finishes the
looking past
line.
the camera at your lines.
She finishes the line. She's like, she walks upset.
And see.
And then Binro, I want to give Binro a shout out because Binro was bloody wonderful. Binro's the fellow who'd been sort of exercised and excommunicated from the North because the North is where everyone's apparently more profitable and they're a little kinder. But he believed in stars and he believed stars were what stars are, and they all told him he's talking bullshit.
It's crazy. So he lives in he lives in like the market bit, doesn't he?
He's shunned and he seems
underground bit.
And yet. The thief turns around to him and he's like, "No, you're right. Like, I'm from another planet. You are right. These things exist." And he just sort of takes solace in that. And because he's the only person to show him kindness, he helps him out. You've got the underground tunnels with the other versions of the beasts out there. And all that run around stuff was really bloody good. Especially the whole prophecy from the seer that, like, only one of the people who are going down there is going to survive. Yeah. And the Graf Vindicay eventually just sort of goes... insane.
Oh, sorry then.
And the guard he hands his like stuff to the Jethric to before he kills himself, going into battle because he's all delusioned. Turns out to, of course, be the Doctor in disguise. Let's talk about their involvement here. So the White Guardian.
Oh yeah, Doctor Who was in it.
Well, that's the thing. This is a story that's really entertaining. It could absolutely just be about the two con men.
Yeah.
the Doctor and Romana are just kind of there, and that's what's really good about this, because
Yeah.
the key to time is mostly stories where something else is going on. They just need to nip in and grab a thing, and they get pulled into the story.
It's like every story.
Yeah, but in this one especially, because it could be its whole of the thing. I've got a sneeze coming on, so I apologise in advance. Tell them about the White Guardian and how that interaction begins at the beginning.
The White Guardian, yeah. So did you actually sneeze there?
I managed to stop it.
Oh,
Deck chair.
yeah. Oh,
He sort of appears like sunning himself
like,
with a cocktail.
Oi, Doctor, I need your help. Somebody's trying to steal the key to time, so you need to get it first.
Because the Doctor's like, you because we don't have any Earth characters here to interact with, you have to just glean from everyone else what these people are.
Yeah.
The White Guardian, the Guardians are like sort of celestial beings of this universe. They exist beyond everything. They've lived before the beginning of time. Even the Time Lords like tell stories of them. Thank you very much. The Time Lords tell stories of them, and like the Doctor himself is like, oh my god, you want my help? He's kind of honoured and fascinated, but at the same time he's like, God, this must be something serious. Do you really have to pick me? And he's like, yeah,
sorry.
I'm absolutely picking you. Not only that, you can't tell her the true purpose yet, because the weight of it all is huge, but you need help, you need guidance, you work better with other people, because of course at this point he's on his own after the invasion of time. He's like, so I've recruited another Time Lord. She's just graduated the academy. She's in her first regeneration. She's going to work with you. So the Doctor and K9 are sort of lumped with Romana, played by the fucking fabulous, pardon my language, but you can't go small on it, Mary Tam. She's an absolute don.
She really is. She probably puts the Doctor in his place.
Which is nice, because we were talking about how, since Graham Williams takes over as producer, the Fourth Doctor became a lot snappier with Leela. Like, the Hinchcliffe era, they're on a bit, not of an equal footing, but definitely kind of like the student and the teacher, or the savage and the professor. Whereas toward the end, he was just bollocking her all the time. And now, his companion's bollocking him for most of the stories, which is a really nice change. It gives Tom an excuse to play the silly side of the Doctor a lot more as well. Because he tends to dick about quite a bit in these stories. I mean, one of them, we'll get to, he just flat out gives up and decides to go fishing. So the fragments of the key to time are being sought out by the Black Guardian, who, if the White Guardian gets hold of them, the key to time will be reassembled. It's essentially the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah. Like, you get all the things together and it resets the balance of the universe once they're assembled.
Everything will be good.
If the Black Guardian has hold of it, he can shape reality to his will. And as we later learn in the series, what he wants to do is he wants to set the galaxy at war with each other, so that one half of the universe will fight the other. They'll all learn of each other's existence, and they'll all harm each other, and that's all he wants. He just wants chaos. In this eternal chess game of being godly and above everything, that's all he wants.
My goodness.
So in this one, it's the Jethric. We've got the flying hover car that the Doctor steals twice. K9 being adorable. What did you think of the Ribos Operation?
I thought it was very fun. Very, very fun. It's what it needed, I think.
A really strong start to the series.
Definitely. And the little switcheroo that he does at the end with the Jethric. Yeah,
where what's his face? Garen. Like we the viewer see him taking it off the Doctor, and then the TARDIS leaves, and you realise there's obviously a split-second moment we didn't catch.
Because he tells the Doctor that he just wants to see it one more time.
One last time.
One last time.
Just hold it for old time's sake.
Then he does a switcheroo.
Yeah.
And then the Doctor switches it back. How? We don't know.
Time Lord magic.
Yeah.
Probably.
And they're pretty gutted, but they have the fragment now. So that's
first segment, the key time. Ribos Operation. This is my second viewing. I don't remember loving it. Watched it this time. I was like, this might be the best story of the series.
Yeah. Oops,
what kind have you picked? Let's find out. Lucy, not Chris. Explain the basic premise of the pirate planet without using the words Mr. Fibuli.
I have no idea. I'm not going to lie, I zoned out in this one because it was just ridiculous and not in a good way. I found it quite boring.
Now, what's really weird about that is, out of the two of us, I would say you are absolutely the Hitchhikers fan in the household. You are the big fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I grew up with it, so...
Exactly. And this being Douglas Adams' first full-on script for the show, I was curious as to how you were going to react. I quite like this one, but I haven't watched it in a while, and I've got to admit, it does plot a bit.
Slow.
But I don't dislike it as much as you. Basic plot. They're trying to find this planet. This planet will be the place that has the key to time fragment that they need. But then that planet disappears. They're like, the hell's going on here? And then they get there, and there's this other planet there instead. This giant manufacturing thing with massive nuclear reactors and all this, that, and the other. As the story goes by, we learn that that planet they wanted got nabbed out of its time and place. And this ship that they're on, this planet they're on, is a ship that is turning other planets into basically like compartmentalised, shrunken versions of themselves.
Like a boat in a bottle.
Because they're mining to find an energy, which we learn is being used to keep this woman alive. This lady who's like the founder of the society. What's her bloody name?
The Empress.
Yeah. The character's created Zanzia. Yeah.
Zamzia or Zamzia? Or were you just knowing on
They go to the planet. The planet they end up on is Zanak, which turns out to be the spaceship.
Yeah.
The planet they were after was Calufrax.
Yeah. Great name for a planet, I've got to admit. And
Zanzia is the one who's keeping herself alive. But spoiler alert for a story from 40 odd years ago. The nurse, played by Rosalind Lloyd, is actually Zanzia.
Yeah.
They find the body of the real Zanzia, like
old and
decrepit body in the middle of like the engines, and she's in this throne, and she's untouchable. And she can't hear or see anything. She's just basically there in like a trance-like state. And it's because we learn she has been using all that energy to slowly put herself into another body, and then she's going to rule with a iron fist. Basically, she's a villain. She's Ra's al Ghuling it. She's trying to keep herself alive again for another generation, so she can be in charge of everything. But in doing so, she's left Bruce Purchase's character, the pirate captain, in charge. Although, as we realise, he's mostly a puppet, so that everyone can think he's in charge of it all. She's really the one leading it. He's a really fun villain because he's such a blowhardy, Power Rangers-looking bad guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then toward the end, you go, oh, he's only partially in control of what's happening, and you can tell it's breaking him apart inside to know that he's just a puppet in this game, and he sometimes cannot physically fight her commands because he's programmed to do stuff. But you can tell that the man, because he's a cyborg, he's like the first non-Cyberman cyborg we've met really in this, isn't he?
He's a robot.
Well, he's not. He's a person with
he's
a load
a
of
robot
augmentation.
person.
He's a cyborg, a person with cybernetic
Well, I was just
enhancements.
saying his name's Robert.
He's a Borg. He's a Borg. He's a pirate Borg.
Oh my god!
With his sidekick, Mr. Fibuli, played by Andrew Robertson, who keeps getting screamed at throughout the whole story.
Which is that was something that was funny. But I think his character was so loud and dramatic.
Yeah.
But everybody else seemed to be quite neutral, and he didn't have anything to bounce against.
Well, you say that, but is that because the mutated citizens, the Mentiads, who have psychic abilities, which is where the cracks in all this begins to show in the plan, was he just so much OTT because the way the psychic people were, they all sort of played it like this?
I think
because we saw a man become one. We saw somebody become a Mentiad. Because essentially this story is Brainiac with the bottled city of Kandor, for Superman fans. It's Kryptonian City, another city's bottled in a collection.
Like a ship in a bottle.
So it's partially that, yeah, but it's also X-Men. It's people with mutant genes being awoken, and they become these psychics who can do stuff with their mind, and you realise it's because it's sort of leftover stuff from the previous civilization.
I think it was just a bit all over the place, to be honest. And
do you think, as horrible as it sounds to say, because I know your predilection for 4-parters, but do you think this needed to be a 6-parter?
No.
So it could actually breathe?
I think it needed to be a 1-parter.
But what about K9 fighting the metal parrot?
Not even that could say.
And the Doctor using the projection machine, against them to prove point, because they make the Doctor walk the plank. And then the Doctor reappears in the doorway, and he's like, hello. And they're like, wait a minute, hang on, we just killed you. And then that same Doctor reappears, and he's like, hello, Doctor. Hello, Doctor.
Tom.
It's holograms. Holograms in Doctor Who.
The Doctor, Romana, and K9. And Mr. Fibuli, is it?
Mr. Fibuli.
Fibuli.
With the assistant.
They're probably the best things about it.
You didn't like the pirate captain at all?
No. I didn't like his costume.
Oh, I love his
I
costume.
found it very distracting. The thing on his face.
I love his costume. He's like a PS1 Fallout character.
It's not good. It's
Great.
Well,
what about the scene where the Doctor learns what the ship they're on is doing, what Zanuck does? Because that's one of my favourite Tom scenes.
Yeah, he's quite silly, and knows, well, not knows that he's better than than the rest of them on that ship, but kind of that. Sorry, I just got distracted by something else I was talking. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so he's quite silly. But then in this moment when he finds out that these planets have been shrunken down and they're going to be used, and he's just like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, because the pirate captain's like, surely there's this massive engineering, it's incredible, it's wonderful, surely you appreciate it. It's the whole, appreciate it.
Holding the whole planet, yeah.
But undoubtedly killing all the people on the surface.
Exactly.
But what's it for? Like, all that stuff is wonderful. And then at the end it turns out Califrax, the planet, was never just Califrax. It never had anyone living on it. It was a swamp land, it was a marsh, it had no life, and it was the key to time segment. So they have all the planets blasted back out into space so that they can survive as best as they can. Obviously there's going to be casualties, but the civilizations will live on and the planets will be restored to where they're meant to be, including Califrax. At the end of the story, the Doctor and Romana are like, right, we're going to go pick Califrax up later. Bye everybody, we'll see you later. And off screen, they pick up the second segment. So the Pirate Planet. I enjoy it. It's not Douglas Adams' best. That's next series, and my favourite story of the classic series. Lucy did not enjoy it, which means it is my sad duty to have to summarise the next story. The Stones of Blood, a.k.a. old women doing shit. Oh, come on, that's what it is. Yeah, it is. The Stones of Blood, featuring Beatrix Lehman as Professor Rumford.
Beatrix? Her name is Beatrix.
Her name is Beatrix.
Perfect.
And she is insane. So, Beatrix. Doctor and Romana arrive on Earth. Huzzah!
Hooray!
And the wand is telling them that the key to time has something to do with a stone circle. Very sort of ancient stone circle arrangement that these druids keep coming to and messing around with. They are druids, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do rituals there, and apparently they sacrifice the old goat there, and it's set in
sacrifice the old goat.
It's set in the 70s, so of course the local historian Professor Rumford and her other associate Vivian Fay are both like, yeah, we know it's a bit crazy, but we're here studying the stone circles and this, that, and the other, and la 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 la. And these two have the most unusual line delivery in the world because Professor Rumford, played by Beatrix Lehman, it feels like she's in theatre.
Yeah.
Experimental, improvisational theatre. Because you can see the other actors unable to pick up her rhythm in a way that suggests she doesn't do what she did in rehearsal. Even Tom, a few times, you can sort of see him, not looking frustrated, but you can hear from the way he kind of tries to start the line, she carries on, and then he this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And, for example, if you just randomly explain the concept to me. Explain to me the concept of how to scramble an egg, and I will do what the Doctor would sometimes do. Yeah?
Yeah.
Just go. Tell me how you scramble an egg.
So you get the jug, and then you put the eggs in, and then you put some butter.
Wait a minute. You put the eggs in the jug.
And then you put
the eggs in the jug. Now you're doing what she was doing, where you just carry on talking. Exactly. So it's really odd, and the rhythm of it's stuff. There's a few times where you feel like Mary Tam is biting her tongue a bit.
Yeah. It's a little bit distracting.
She gets put through the ringer in this one. She loses her bloody shoe.
No,
she doesn't have the right shoes. And she takes them off, and she falls off a fucking cliff.
But she catches the. That's not
the
right.
Rock?
She catches herself. I don't know what I'm saying.
Long story short, the cultists get screwed over. We learn that Vivian is actually the ancient god who's been the goddess who the druids all believe in.
What is it called? The god.
Kiliak.
Don't all these names sound quite similar?
Well, Kiliak is in Gaelic mythology, so you can't blame Gilliac for sounding similar to the other stuff because it's a thing.
Alrighty then, fair.
Turns out she's Gilliac, and she's been there for 2,000 odd years.
She's a big bird goddess.
Yeah, and we learn that she's not this horrible, goddess who affects life and the universe around her and life in the area and responds to the rituals per se. She's a high danger prisoner aboard a prison ship that is stuck like 1 second out of time just above the stone circle.
Holy moly.
She's locked up the people who are policing her, including, what the hell are they called? They've got a great name. What the hell are they called? She's the criminal, her real name is Cessair. Or Cessair.
We do our research before we do this.
Yeah, she's got, well, it's because we've got all the stuff going on. She commands these stone creatures, which are sort of like, basically like grunts. They're like the putties, they're like ogrons, and they're called the ogri. They're these stone creatures that mash people to death. And use their, but they feed on blood.
Yeah.
They feed on blood.
They are essentially just big rocks.
Yeah,
and they just, like, move.
But they're still pretty deadly.
Have a glowing sheen.
They're still pretty deadly.
They're deadly because they're a rock. It's nothing super scary. You know, they don't, like, just appear out of nowhere. They just roll in from the background. It's like, it's not...
The only time they're really freaky is when they attack those two campers, the couple who are camping, to replenish their energy after K9's been shooting at them.
Do they squish them?
Do you remember the woman, like, touches the stone and she can't climb it and she's screaming.
Yeah,
it's really vampiric.
Yeah.
You see a hand, like, all skeletal.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we never see what happens to them because we presume that they're killed.
Yeah.
They're drained of their life and their blood. But they get on the prison ship and they find the Megara, who are judge, jury, and executioner, a supercomputer that tries and basically kills criminals. And the Doctor is put on trial by them, and he keeps trying to trick them.
Because he woke them up.
Yeah, and he keeps trying to trick them into learning during his case of who Vivian really is.
Yeah.
And the fact that, because obviously their like memory of the original crime that they were there to transport prisoner from is erased. So he's trying to like get them to put the pieces together. That stuff's really good. I know the Stones of Blood is meant to be all like, oh, stone blood and stone circle and battle old woman and I'm a druid. The Romana in a flat cap, and you know, it's meant to be all like, okay, like we're going cult and everything. My favourite stuff's the stuff on the ship.
Yeah,
same. It feels so classic Star Trek.
Yeah.
And kind of Red Dwarf.
Absolutely.
Specifically the episode Justice.
Yeah.
The prison facility.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love it.
There's like a Wirren cameo. Like one of the dead creatures in the cells is a Wirren from Ark in Space. Or at least it looks like it's a big old bug. What do you think of the Stones of Blood overall? Oh,
boring. I loved the bit on the spaceship though. That was really, really good because they were quite funny. They were like, one of them is the judge for the trial that they put the Doctor on, and the other one is his like defense. And he's like, well, they're going to have the trial, but it's just between them. Like it's got nothing to do with the Doctor. And then like, we find you guilty, and he's like, what the hell are you supposed to defend me? He's like, well, I lost. I just
I'm sorry, but when you word it like that, this sounds like the best story ever.
I was just skipped to the last episode. It was really funny. I just thought it was quite amusing.
And it turns out the seal that Cessair wears is the key to time.
I told you that from the beginning that had something to do with it.
Well, from the beginning you were like, she's the villain. I was like, why? And you went, look at how she's delivering every line.
She was being a bit extra.
Like, for example, ask me if I'd like a cup of tea.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Yes, I really think I would.
Exactly.
It's like everything she said was like, all right, what are you hiding? Like, what's going on?
You're the bad guy.
But she looked fabulous in her silver paint.
Yeah.
And her sort of like kimono meets bath towel around the hair kind of garb.
She looked better as a bird though. I mean, look at that. See, looking at the pictures on the back of the DVD...
You have to, like, turn them round at least.
Sorry, the pictures on the back of the DVD are pretty amazing. And look at that middle one. It's like...
On the bird?
Yeah. You would not know that this was actually quite boring.
Well, I think people in the comments are going to have a field day disagreeing with you, but this is all about opinion, guys. No one's wrong.
Yeah, well...
Even if they see it.
Well, to be fair, I'm going a little bit crazy in this. I've got serious cabin fever right now, so if it doesn't grab me in the first 5 minutes, I'm not interested.
Well, I'll tell you what did grab you in the first 5 minutes, Your Honour.
Oi, oi.
Would you like to tell everyone about the androids of Tara?
Yeah. I would, because I loved this.
I think this was your favourite one of the series.
I think it is.
But they find the key. Romana. Well, the doctor can't be.
I'm laughing at the next.
The doctor.
I even got to it yet.
The doctor can't be sodded, and he goes off fishing.
He's like, "Well, you did a good job getting the last one, so
you get it.
You can go get it."
And to be fair, to Romana's credit, she finds it in the first 5 minutes. It's just like part of a statue.
Yeah, but something attacks her, and
Count Grendel finds her
and saves her.
Played by Peter Jeffrey, who I think Peter Jeffrey's tied with the Conman bloke in the first one as being the best performance in the series.
Yeah,
because he's very good.
Yeah. So she's injured. She's hurt her ankle, so he takes her back.
Yeah, and it's
to the castle essentially.
So again, we're on the planet Tara. We're on the I can't remember what it's called, but his whole. We're on the planet Tara, but everything's very kind of again. It's very medieval England, but specifically sort of Robin Hood is like the biggest thing here. It's like that Robin Hood kind of vibe. I know it's based on... I will look up what it is, because people in the comments are going to go crazy if we don't, but it is based on an actual folklore thing.
But he takes her back, and he's got an assistant there. I can't remember what her name is, but she's great. And they're like, oh, it's amazing. She's got no marks on her face. And then they find out that she's not an android, and she's like, why would I be an android? That's bizarre. And...
yeah, because there's that whole like grim near surgery scene.
Yeah, they were like gonna cut her face open, and she's like, "Whoa!"
They pop a shoe off and look at her ankle. They're like, "Oh, these injuries look rather realistic." Oh well,
her ankle is swollen.
Let's cut her head off. Hang on, her ankle's swollen, mate. What? Her ankle's chuffing swollen, son. Yeah, that's his sort of his nurse's assistant. She's Lamia, played by Lois Baxter.
Yeah.
And she's like, "This is a real lady," and they're like, "What? Surely,
how can that be?
Surely it's an android based off of." Let me find out her name so we'll get it right.
The Princess
Billy Humhay.
Flibble Flobble.
The Princess Strella. The Princess Strella.
Princess Strella. Yeah. So they're a bit like. What?
Well,
so to this point, you think that I forgot what his name is. I can never remember anybody's name.
Which one? The villain.
The villain. Yeah.
Grendel.
Count
Grendel.
Of course.
Grendel of Gra, probably. Is it Grendel of Gra? I bet it is.
That's very funny. Grendel
of Gra, yeah.
Amazing.
Gracht. Grendel of Gra.
Fabulous. You kind of think, oh, is he a good guy? Because he saved her and stuff. And then you're like,
excuse me.
He's going to cut her face off.
Well, cut her head off and keep it.
Don't drop your phone.
Yeah, for his own sad needs.
But, yeah, it turns out that she looks exactly like this princess. And he goes down to show her, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And
they're like, here's a princess. You look just like her. It's weird. Oh, by the way, she's imprisoned. Why?
Because he wants...
Power play.
He wants her to marry the prince of this place.
Yes. Zadok.
So he can kill...
Zadok, isn't it?
The prince.
Oh, Prince Reinhardt. Prince Reinhardt. If Reinhardt and Strella marry...
Yeah.
Their two kingdoms will unite.
Yeah.
And everything will be lovely.
Yeah. Which is what they want to do.
But
they want to marry each other.
But Grendel doesn't want that. He's next in line for the throne, essentially.
Yeah.
And if Prince Reinhardt was taken out of the picture, he'd be the next in line because it'd just be logically given to him.
Yeah.
But with him and Strella about to marry, he's got too much in the picture. Mm-hmm. So he's kidnapped Strella. She's seemingly not arrived at the kingdom yet, as far as everyone's concerned.
Little did they know, she's just chilling in the dungeons,
yeah,
embroidering.
Reinhardt is preparing for an assassination attempt on his life. Mm-hmm. So basically, I think the initial plan is he makes it look like Strella's not arrived yet. Yeah. There's a strict deadline for the coronation of Prince Reinhardt. Mm-hmm. There's a strict deadline for it. If Reinhardt doesn't show, Grendel gets made king. Gets made prince/king. Yeah.
What are these rules?
If he does somehow arrive and isn't killed, then when he marries Estrella, it will there's too much for him to deal with. Yeah. He just wants to be in power. So he's like, right, I either have to get in power and marry her. No, sorry, I either have to get in power before he even shows up, which is what he attempts to do, or I have to kill them both and be like, oh, I don't know what's happened to them. Oh no, la la la. He's got a couple of windows of opportunity to become king in a way that publicly will appear to have been perfectly natural and part of the system. To complicate matters, as we mentioned, androids. There are androids in this, so it's medieval England kind of stuff, but with androids. Mm-hmm. As decoys, especially Reinhardt, sort of a Prince and the Pauper kind of thing. And when Reinhardt is captured by Grendel's men, Reinhardt still shows up to be crowned, because the Doctor has got involved with the side who are fighting for the Prince, and is helping them repair their android, because androids they're not ten a penny on Terra, but they're known.
Mm-hmm.
People know about them, but there are not many who are read or learned. I'm trying to remember what they keep referring to people. It's not peasants, but it's that kind of thing, isn't it? They always refer to everyone as like, oh, you're one of the something, you're one of the something.
Isn't it peasant? That's what I thought it was.
I don't think it's peasant. I can't remember now.
Common folk? Common?
Yeah, it's something like
Hobbit.
something like Hobbits is. It doesn't say it in the summary, I should have written it down, but it's sort of... There's not enough people who are well read enough to repair the androids.
Mm-hmm.
And this android looks like a Freddie Mercury tribute act. 10 years,
Yeah,
10 years too early.
Yeah.
10 years too early for it.
They had the oh god, yes, but they had.
At this point, he's still catsuits, nipples out, long hair, no mustache.
Oh my god, looks so weird, but beautiful at the same time. No, I can't get Freddie out of my head. What were we talking about? Oh yeah,
Prince Reinhardt.
he has that android because he's pretty sure that he's going to get assassinated before this.
Yeah.
Before he's crowned.
So they're sending in the fake one. The original plan was to send the fake one in because they thought an attempt would be made on his life on the way, and then the real one would
appear.
Rock up and be like, ha, Grendel, screw you, I'm the king.
But he's been kidnapped.
There's also an android of Princess Estrella, meaning Mary Tam plays 3 roles in this story. She plays Princess Estrella, she plays Romana, and she plays the android of Princess Estrella.
Yeah.
Who also briefly doubles up... No, hang on. No, it doesn't. I was going to say the android is sent into the ceremony. Yeah, no, but that's kind of what's good about it, because like none of the characters should really know exactly what's going down. And you see Grendel's plans fail, and him instantly be like, right, well, we're going to do this then instead. So he's a really kind of mustache-twirling villain. He's proper seedy. He's really well played. The Doctor gets a lot of fun stuff to do. K9 has a ball. Excuse me. Intimidating everyone.
Yeah.
With shooty lasers and telling people to put that down. I'm trying to remember what his name is, but the head of the guard who doesn't quite trust the Doctor. Like the young swordsman. Every time like he goes for his thing, K9's like, advise, do not touch your weapon. He's sort of like, oh shoot, okay.
This metal dog is talking to me.
This metal dog's gonna kill me.
Speaking of dogs, hi Mean.
So you've got mistaken identities, doubles. You've got the bit where they send the Doctor's gonna swap Romana for key information, and Lamia's actually set up the Strela. Oh, that's it. Yeah, there's a bit where the Strela robot is set up.
There's so many details.
The Strela robot is set up to be Romana in the exchange, and it's going to kill the Doctor. And she's got like a laser beam that comes out of her cooch, and it's really strange. That's a wonderful bit. They're trying to get out of the grounds because there's only one entrance, and K9 sort of welds an opening with his laser, and the Doctor busts it out, but he makes sure because he keeps showing him where to do it, like what size. And afterwards, you realise it's because it's the perfect size for him to screw through, and then K9 to just walk right through. The Doctor and K9 by this point are full-on besties. Yeah. Like he's so nasty to him last series, and then this series, and maybe it's because it's his K9, like he built this one. Yeah. Maybe he's a bit more like, hey, he's my chum. He still has a go at him whenever K9's gives him an extra fact or one-ups him and something. He's always like, oh, shut up. But you get the sense that they're in the time between the invasion of time and the Ribos Operation, they've become mates. And it's really sweet. Tom's a lot of fun in this. I think Mary Tam gets the bonus points for this one for playing so many bloody roles.
It's quite confusing, but it's a great story watching it.
You were so invested in it. It's high camp.
Yeah, absolutely. I was absolutely right. We need to talk about this. I was absolutely convinced. I've forgotten what his name is.
Count Grendel of Gra.
I've forgotten what it is.
Count Grendel of Gra. I literally just said his name.
I know.
Oh my god. Count Grendel of Gra.
I was convinced that he was the Master.
You turned to me about a minute into interacting with Romana. You went, "Is he the Master?" I went, "What makes you think he's the Master?" You went, "Is he though?" I was like, "No, but tell me what makes you think." He's just like, "I don't know. It's just something about the way he's playing it." I was like, "Who do you like? The actor? Do you recognise the actor?" And you went, "He's the next one, right?" I was like, "The Master's crispy right now."
Well, I didn't know he was still crispy.
And Anthony Ainley doesn't come back into it.
I'm supposed to know that. So
Anthony Ainley doesn't come into it. We're like, well, do you want to know?
No.
Okay.
He comes back at some point. But I was, to the end, I was convinced.
Is it the master? He's the master. To the point where at one point you Wikipedia'd it very briefly, and then you went, oh. So what is it? You went, I've just skipped ahead, he's not the master.
Because I was sure that there would be a dark guardian, a black guardian for the other side.
Yeah, I think this was the story where we kind of hear his voice as well, isn't it? The whole, the Black Guardian. So this story, the one before, is when we finally hear him say something ominously.
I don't know.
Because they're like, oh shit, the Black Guardian's onto us.
But because we hadn't seen him yet, I was like, maybe it's the master working for him. Which, to me, seems logical. But, obviously, it wasn't. I was pretty sure I was dead smart and knew what was going to happen, but obviously not.
Prove you're smart.
You win some, you lose some.
Prove you're smart, son. Tell everybody what happens in Key to Time story number 5, The Power of Kroll. Kroll.
Kroll.
God, we had a laugh at this one, didn't we? This one is the epitome of wow, and also, are you kidding me?
What?
It's sort of like wonderful polar opposites. What's the Power of Kroll about? Tell them, son.
So much. They land on a planet.
Yep, well done. That's it. Bye, everybody.
Looking for the 5th segment.
The Key to Charm.
And they end up on a place that's very swampy.
Yep, occupied by people that are the racist term, but the only term we learn for them is swampies.
Swampies, yeah.
And there's a mining, there's like oil rig sort of thing. They're mining the natural resources. It's not oil, but it's mining the resources of the planet. It's on the 3rd moon of Delta Magna is the planet.
Okay.
And the the base is run by
people.
Thorn, Fenner, and Dugeen.
A guy with a giant face.
Yeah.
A really giant face. It was very distracting.
It shouldn't have been,
but it was.
Got a big old face. And John Leeson is one of them randomly. So K9 was in the story because they leave K9 behind because it's swampy.
Yeah.
And that's a great visual when the TARDIS first arrives. It's just the top of it poking out of the reeds.
Really, really long grass, and they're trying to figure out which way it is. And the Doctor goes one way, and Romana's like, pretty sure it's this way. And the Doctor's like, no.
I should know. I'm wearing thigh-high Wellingtons that I can roll down to look like snazzy shoes.
I know. And then he's like, no, it's this way. And Romana's like, yeah, I know.
I know, you twat. And he's like, ah, you bugger.
I know exactly what I do.
Romana.
Of Gallifrey.
Yeah,
so
there's a guy who sort of seems to be a rogue, a bit of a vagabond who's giving arms to the swampies, and you think that it's because it's in exchange with somewhere else, but we do learn later on that actually one of the guys, the big faced bloke, the Brucey good game fella, actually gave him access to all this stuff because he wanted the swampies to have weapons, so he'd have the excuse
to kill them.
For the I think they're an Earth mining team, aren't they, or an Earth colony? They're looking for an excuse to kill the swampies and clear the land and get rid of. Essentially, it's Pocahontas in a way, like in that sense. It's a colonist storyline, but there's no attempt at understanding, and they clearly don't belong there at all, or they should at least make it a mutual benefit relationship of your society is very behind ours. We can give you resources to help you and help you thrive in exchange for some of this, and they don't. They just want to wipe them out, and it's really freaking horrible.
Yeah.
Thing is, the swampies believe in Kroll, the god who looked after them before, and he's due to rise, is it like the 3rd or 4th time or whatever?
Yeah, it's like every 400, 600 years.
This Cthulhu-esque nightmare, which they do ceremonies. Romana's going to be sacrificed to Kroll.
They kidnap Romana!
Well, we learn in that sacrifice, she deals with it so well. She spends the whole thing just like, what the hell is happening? Like, why?
God,
stop being a dick and all this.
Happening?
But then she's freaked out when obviously they start the ritual and this monster crawls out of the swamp and starts like
she screams, like proper screams.
Yeah. The Doctor, of course, sees the monster from behind, and that's the joke they make of, like, she's like, it's very convincing from the front. Because, of course, just before the Doctor attacks the guy, we see it from the side, and it is like a creature with claws at the front.
Yeah.
And you can see the sheet of it and the guy's, like, legs behind it from the back. Because, of course, they still kill people occasionally to appease Kroll, but then pretending to be a servant of Kroll. But then Kroll does rock up.
It makes me laugh that Romana's like, ah! Oh.
Okay. Which is realistic enough, I suppose. She's sort of like, oh my god! Oh, right. Okay. But let's talk about the good and the bad. The good. Kroll looks amazing. in the most of the shots it's in. It's the first time you saw it, you went, "Oh my god!"
Well,
you
yeah,
saw all
no,
those
you're right.
teeth and
yeah.
it's like bits of flesh undulating in its mouth, and the tentacles don't look comedic. They're kind of like moving the way big, heavy limbs would. What do you mean?
Like, what did they make it out of? I wonder.
Dreams,
latex, and
nightmares.
Yeah,
but like it looks
slime.
heavy, and it's huge. Like it's a Cthulhu-sized like eldritch horror. And that's really great. The chroma key lets it down when it's on the horizon a bit because of how flat
it's
it can be.
definitely like split screen.
When you see it from a distance, like the first time you see it, it doesn't. It's not that bad. But when they have like it filling the whole upper half of the screen, it's like there's a clear divide.
Yeah.
Because this is grass, and grass is not that flat unless it's the horizon in the distance.
Yeah.
But it looked good. The tentacles, like we've got a lot of tentacle acting in this one. The tentacles look pretty great.
It did in like the ship and.
When they're attacking through the pipes in the rig, and when they attack the Doctor at the end, like they look good.
There's some reverse shots going on, which I think really worked in their favour.
Yeah, they're not comedically fast
because
obvious.
At one point one of them was wrapped up in it.
Yeah,
and obviously you could tell that somebody was wrapped up, and they pulled it, and obviously it came round.
Yeah.
But obviously they did it in reverse, and it looked really good.
The tentacle shot.
Yeah, it looked really good.
But yeah, there's a lot of really good direction in this one that really takes advantage of the fact that it could just look really samey, like the same two rooms in the rig with the wheel on the wall for no reason, which really drove you insane.
Why would you put a wheel on a wall?
and obviously, like Marshland, it could look the same throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
But they make it different enough.
Yeah.
The Swampies are a bit. I feel like we're getting tribe fatigue with Doctor Who, because so many of the tribes in Doctor Who, they're meant to be like indigenous peoples or whatever, are kind of the same.
Yeah.
And it's always weird that they all have RP Shepherd's Bush Theatrical Company accents. And it sticks out so much in this one because they're meant to look like alien creatures, but they just look like people developing old Greg cosplays.
Oh, when he said
and forgetting their underwear.
When Christopher said, "Just imagine old Greg," I was like, I can't unsee it now. It's like Jolly Green Giant.
God, yeah, one of them looked like. Oh, you remember he came into frame. He had like that braid thing around his chest, and I just went, oh, oh, oh.
But I mean. There's a point where...
For those who don't know what old Greg is, it's a character played by Noel Fielding in The Mighty Boosh. And he looks like this. And that's what the Swampies look. That's him. And I'll get one of the Swampies up.
There's a moment where they're all chanting to Kroll to kind of encourage him to appear.
Although it's the servant of Kroll in a costume.
Yeah. And
that's what the Swampies look like. It's the same. It's the same.
It's exactly the same. And it's just a load of extras just jumping up and down going,
Kroll! Kroll!
In
a marshland at night in paint and loincloths.
Like sweating it off.
They must have hated it.
Yeah.
Hated filming that. We didn't watch the behind the scenes on this. Because we're only really... I don't want to watch too many behind the scenes because I don't want Lucy to see too much of the stories ahead, because obviously some talk about other characters and other directors and stuff. But I kind of want to go back and watch the behind the scenes of this at some point just to see if they talk about that.
And you can see how long...
Tom did the commentary on this one, so we could watch it with the commentary with Tom.
That's why you said you wanted to go back to it to listen to that. But,
hello! Ha ha!
Yeah, and they end up... they end up getting captured, don't they? Including the Earth guy, the arms guy that was supposed to be helping them.
And they're being sacrificed.
Yeah.
They have to be killed to appease Kroll, and there's like 7 different... Because it gets a bit... Indiana Jones at one point, after he saves her from the sacrifice, they find like the tomes of Kroll, like the books that talk about the times it's risen before.
Yeah.
And there's all these things of the rituals, and they have to be killed away, where they're basically put on a rack made of vines, and their wrists are tied, and the sunlight dries out the vines around their ankles, doesn't it? So that so it pulls taut basically.
Yeah, so they shrink
and will slowly, basically. Pop all, that really kind of enjoyable, like, oh, I popped it then, that felt really nice, but until, of course, then their spine dislodges and they all die.
It's a bit ridiculous. They don't say, like, oh, these are super growing, like, this sun is gonna kill them straight away and they're super strong, because it all happens within, like, the space of an hour.
Yeah.
No,
And
probably not. A couple of hours.
in classic villain, even though they're not the baddies, but like in classic villain action, no one stays to make sure they die.
They're gonna trust this happens. I'll leave
Later,
to go
folks.
and pray to Kroll. And the Doctor like sings, doesn't he? Like he emits like a really high pitched sound to smash the window. Because there's a storm.
Yeah, storm.
Because there's a storm. So the rain will land on the plants, and the plants will be like, ooh.
Softened.
And
they'll do what?
ooh. and flourish again, so they'll be fine and dandy to leave. Which they are.
Yeah.
Which they are. But having said that, though, the storm's still going on. Even when the storm was happening and the sun wasn't shining, they were still stretching. That doesn't make any sense. And also... plants are not that strong. Not those plants that look like
plants, I guess. We don't know for sure. But the fact that he tears the ones off his wrist off like spaghetti. Yeah. It's like, so you could have just done that really, at any point.
If he'd have said that it was a special alien plant, though, like I was saying,
or even had sunlight. Even had sunlight through the ones above their wrists as well.
Yeah. So but when they smashed the window and they were leaving, the storm was obviously still going on. Yeah. But there was no rain coming through the smashed window.
Cherry, could you show the rain? But what do you mean it's too late? But carry on, guys. Just keep rolling. Tom, get out of there, quick.
That would have been good, because then it could have been like the plants were growing like really quickly, so they had to get out of there quick because it was like overrun with plants. But no. You missed out on something there, guys.
But the wand keeps telling them that there's something about Kroll. That it sends off signals.
There's something about Kroll.
Dogs, there's a documentary on there that we watched called There's Something About Mary, which is about Mary Tam, and I'm like, to entertain, I don't think you thought that title through beyond the fact it sounds like a thing you heard about. I don't remember a scene in this where Mary Tam rubs something in her hair untoward or unbecoming.
Okay, I don't want to watch that film.
It's not good. Do we own it? I hope not.
Still
anyway, Doctor gets in close and gets attacked by Kroll, and he takes the risk and he jabs the wand like onto Kroll's sort of carapace, whatever, like its underside while it's attacking the rig, and it pays off.
Yeah.
Because it turns out Kroll hasn't like eaten the segment or like the fragment isn't like part of him. Kroll is the fragment of the key to time.
Imagine like Jack Sparrow stabbing the Kraken, in
it turning
Pirates.
into a block of ice on a stick. Yeah. As we were watching that, you went...
The end.
Yeah, as we were watching that, you went, I'm getting Dead Man's Chest vibes from this moment. It's like, so, Power of Kroll.
That's just the coronavirus.
I don't think this is...
That was awful. I'm so sorry.
I don't think this is a fave, but we had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah.
It was a fun one. And then the six-parter, the conclusion, hits us like a ton of bricks. Oh, well, that's not going to work. It comes in... The Armageddon Factor. We watched this over the last couple nights. The Black Guardian is afoot. He's apparently upon everything.
He's just afoot.
And it turns out he's been waiting. They arrive at the war between two planets, Atrios and Zeos. And Zeos' forces are sending some horrible stuff that is wiping out the Atrios forces. Mm-hmm. And there's is it a general? Is he a general? Commander, a dirty little Marshal. John Woodvine is the Marshal. He was like, "We're gonna fight back. I'm gonna kill him, despite all the casualties." And you sort of see people, Atrios' citizens, like in hospital, and soldiers in hospital, like watching soap operas, which they never come back to. And I think the point of that, I wouldn't be surprised because I think he's script editor by this point. Yeah, Douglas Adams, uncredited script editor. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a Douglas Adams flourish. That felt very Hitchhikers.
Yeah.
The idea of seeing the soap opera on the screens in the hospital. And then at the end, there's a sort of mirror of it as the two reunite at the end. Yeah. But of course, 6 weeks have been and gone between then. No doubt the viewers remember it. But yeah, people are dying. Their fleet is not good enough to fight back against Zeos, but the Marshal's determined, and he keeps going to this mirror, this sort of dark mirror on the wall, and talking to himself like he's sort of in a meditative state. And then he keeps turning around and having his plans and going about with everything. Meanwhile, Princess Astra of his people. She's apparently trying to work with someone in Zeos. They're trying to get communication to Zeos, her and Merak, who's the doctor. Not the doctor. To try and stop this war.
Yeah.
she gets locked up by one of the Marshal's assistants in the irradiated corridors. It was like Sector 11, I think it was. And she gets transported somewhere, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Dr. Romana and K9 arrive. The TARDIS immediately gets crumbled in amongst all the rubble. We'll get to that in a bit. I know exactly what you want to say, but we'll touch on that in a bit. And they arrive and they're like, oh god, combat. Oh, where's the usual Doctor Who thing? Oh, you must be spies from Zeos, and this and the other. Oh my god, no, blah, 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 blah. They discover there's a teleporter in Sector 11, and Astra's been taken, obviously, by the teleporter. So Merak
and
joins
it was closed, them. That bit was closed off because of radiation. But it's because there's
a secret teleport, which means this has been put here for a while. There's obviously some machination going on.
Oh, it must have had radiation in it though. Because it was
originally,
Astra.
But it cleared enough, but she was still being affected.
If you just open the door and let the radiation out, everything's fine.
Well, there's that wonderful moment where K9 blows a very small hole through the thing, and she speaks to the Doctor. She's like, I think there's somebody in there. But yeah, K9 nearly ends up getting blown up in an incinerator in the trash.
It's sad because he's calling for his master.
That was one of the bits in this that though we at the time were like, oh no, it felt like this is a six-parter. It could absolutely have been a fourth. There is a lot of padding, namely K9 talking to machinery.
Oh my god, and actual shots of them just stood there waiting for it to be over.
Because the interesting twist is they get to Zeos and find a computer. The people of Zeos are long gone, and there's a computer conducting the war. The ships they're fighting are being piloted by the computer. The computer isn't an evil computer. We're not talking in the face of evil. It's not a machine that's up to no good. It's just been set to play war.
Yeah,
and that's what it's doing. Why? Well, it turns out this conflict was deliberately orchestrated to bring about the finding of the sixth segment, because Princess Astra, the sixth princess of the sixth dynasty, the sixth daughter of the sixth family of the sixth dynasty, or whatever, like she is the key to time. She has a destiny that's prophesied, and she is aware of that, but she doesn't know she's the key to time. And the Shadow is overseeing it all, played by William Squire. The Shadow is like if Skeletor and the Emperor from Star Wars got busy and made a kid. Yeah. Or cosplayed as one another. And
which one's which?
And the Shadow is after the sixth segment of the Key to Time and the Doctor, because the Shadow is the Black Guardian's equivalent of the Doctor to the White Guardian. The Shadow has been sent on this mission to get the sixth segment, and the plan it's come up with is, right, I'll wait for him to get 5 of them, I know where the sixth is, we'll set up this war, we'll wait for him to rock up, as he's always going to, and then we'll take the 5 from him. What ensues is calamity with mind control chips, young lovers, star-crossed, yelling each other's names, and yeah, it's fine. There's some really good sci-fi ideas in here, like the computer doing the war, just cause. Yeah. Again, this reminded me, and I mean this in a good way, this reminded me of the Doctor's daughter. Like, where in that story you find out the conflict's been going on for much shorter, and everyone thinks it's this thing that's been going on for generations, when really it hasn't. And same with this. The Marshal is very much like the pirate captain. He's a puppet of a greater evil, but is doing it all for his own means, and then learns. He wants the glory. Yeah, he wants the glory of war. He's just interested in the glory. He doesn't give a crap. He wants to
fire the missiles that will destroy the last of the
fire. Because he has to go in a time loop, which is a great idea. Like the Doctor and Romana sort of fake the sixth segment with an object that has just enough energy for them to unlock the power of the key to time and create a time loop. But as long as that piece is in there, it will deteriorate, and the more it deteriorates, the longer the time loop becomes.
Yeah, it was like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like 3, and it goes to 10 by the end of it, doesn't it? Because you see the timer get longer each time. Yeah. All to prevent the planet they're on from being blown up. Astra's sort of puppeteered a bit for a while and attempt to get hold of the other 5 segments. Shenanigans ensue, and we meet Drax, another Gallifreyan, because even he says Gallifrey! We meet another Gallifreyan who was at the Academy with the Doctor. Drax has gone on to basically become an engineer and an odd job man, working in computing engineering for people across the galaxy, because he failed the Time Lord Academy and just went, sod it. And he's obviously nicked a TARDIS himself and buggered off to earn dosh. He even got locked up for 10 years in the East End of London in Brixton for being caught doing something or other. And either has just picked it up for a laugh, or this is like his next incarnation, has ended up with a really thick Brixton accent, Cockney rhyming slang, like all this. He calls the Doctor Theta, because Theta Sigma is apparently the Doctor's name. Anybody who's watching this who has only watched the modern series so far is thinking, wait, hang on, what? The Doctor's name? Yep, Theta Sigma.
Big mystery, just go back and watch.
Yep. Although stuff since has retconned it that it's like it was his nickname and etc etc etc.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
His real name isn't important. The name he chose is more important. But the point is, hilarity ensues. Drax uses like a shrink ray device on him and the Doctors. They can sneak around. Toward the end, K9 had been briefly mind controlled as well with the chip, so that he obeyed the Shadow.
And you could tell that he was under mind control because he was calling the Doctor instead of Master.
And the Shadow.
Which
Master.
I thought was quite.
Because you all saw it in Tom's face. He's like, Doctor, this way, Doctor. And you see Tom's face be like, oh, like he instantly knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And then they managed to get K9 back, and then they use the shrink ray thing, and they hide in K9 like a Trojan horse, and K9 has to act to the Shadow. They say like it all hinges on you being a good actor, and K9 is like, understood, like it's a machine. He's like, whatever, I'll say my line. And the Shadow's like, what has become of the Doctor? And K9 sort of like trundles forward, takes position, and goes, ahem. The Doctor and his compatriot, and you're like, oh my god! Magnificent! Outstanding performance from K9! Outstanding performance! That was a lovely choice. That was a lovely choice. Yeah. Romana,
But can we just say a little panel opens and the Doctor and Drax just jump out and it's like, oh my god, that's so cute.
A little panel opens, does it? It's not that one. It's technically on that side.
It's
but
a
I just wanted to pop the thing off.
And it was just bad moving.
But yeah, Romana gets shafted a little in this one, but that's just because there's a lot going on. Mary Tam is as fabulous as ever, and there's a whole thing with an illusionary corridor and stuff where like there's a load of her appearing going, Doctor, Doctor, and it's all these labyrinthian style mind tricks to confuse him and everything.
But one of them is Romana, because she's like, where's he going?
Yeah, she initially was like, Doctor, and that started the thing of it all. They're all just going, Doctor, oh Doctor.
And one of them's facing the wall.
And then turns around.
Romana.
Speaking of turning around, Romana could have solved the whole story if she'd turned around sooner. So earlier on, the TARDIS gets caved in.
Yeah.
And then it vanishes, and we see that it's gone from that section. Mm-hmm. And we learn later it's because the Shadow and his men have transmatted it.
Yeah, they're trying to get in to get the...
Yeah, because in fact, there's this whole thing where it's like they can't get in, and then the Doctor convinces them that if they go in, they'll get killed.
Because it's under protection, And it's just on the side.
Well, that's the thing, he's all bullshitting. Like, he's right, they can't get into the TARDIS, but they could absolutely just go in once it's open, but he convinces them that they can't, which is quite nice, because that becomes a plot point. A lie that is completely hinged on working, and luckily it does for them. But, Romana says the TARDIS is gone, and you see it, and it's part of the cliffhanger of the first episode, or the second episode. The TARDIS is absolutely gone. They've put, like, a matte painting or something in position, so that they don't have to move the set around too much. Problem is, here's the TARDIS, here's a pillar, and they've put a matte painting on this side so that when they reveal the shot of it having been taken...
It's like the ceiling's collapsed.
Yeah, it's absolutely gone. But you can still see it this side. So when the camera suddenly switches to a close-up of Romana further into the room from here, you can see the damn thing.
You can bloody see the TARDIS.
It's in the back of a shot.
It's really obvious.
It's in the back of shot, and I imagine on a telly in, 1979, like, a little telly, maybe you're not spotting it, but...
It's really obvious.
It's odd, because it's like, why did you use that close-up? Like, they only use it for, like, 4 seconds. So it's like, it's not an essential close-up.
It's long enough.
It's not an essential close-up for them to use.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But the Marshal's good. He's sort of kind of nasty piece of work character. The Shadow's
his outfit was fantastic.
The Shadow's a lot of fun. A lot of evil laughing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of hamming it up. His minions look nice and creepy.
They kind of blended in with the surroundings, so they would just appear out of nowhere.
Merrick was a wet lettuce fop because of course he was
the romantic.
And of course we have Princess Astra, played by Lala Ward, who I think as an actor she gets the most to do in this, like in terms of the amount of things she's doing. Like she's herself, she's a freedom fighter, but she's weighing over her head. She's got the role responsibility. She gets mind controlled. She gets to play the mind controlled Astra, and like the evil sort of this is the facade she's putting on Astra. She's also a segment of the key to time, so good luck with that. She gets a lot to do. Mary Tam is moved around a lot in this. I don't feel like it does Romana like bad service, but her highlights are obviously throughout the series and other stories. Like she does a lot more in Stones of Blood. She does a lot more in Androids of Terror. Yeah. And in retrospect, it feels weird because now we know it's Mary Tam's Lost Story. Yeah. And also, they knew it was Mary Tam's Lost Story because as they were working on this one, she was offered, "Do you want to do the next year?" Yeah. And we watched the documentary on the other disc. She loved doing it, but she felt the sameness creeping in of her role in the show. And once this story arc was wrapped up, she was like, "What more is Romana going to do besides be your companion as usual?" And the sameness of it didn't appeal to her. Yeah. So she chose to bow out now. And they deal with that in the start of the next story.
But it feels very odd because...
knowing that it's her last story in the role, it's weird that she's kind of...
It's not addressed at all. Like, she doesn't stay in a place and the Doctor goes somewhere else. It's not referenced at all.
I mean, she doesn't leave, technically. Yeah. But, it's weird. But I think that's because we're comparing it to, like, modern story and modern dramas. They always kind of have, like, the final story or the goodbye or something. Even if it is a character just changing their face, you kind of have, like, a moment in that last story to really... amp up the idea of like, and this is their like, oh, that was great, what a cool Romana moment, and the story ends, oh, brilliant, oh, next series she's played by someone else, oh, right, okay, but sure. Let's talk about the conclusion, then we'll talk about Mary Tam as Romana and the story arc.
Hold on, you've missed out a character.
Have we? What, Drax?
No.
K9?
No.
Who? Shap. Do you remember who Shap was?
Yes, the Marshal's like second-hand man.
Right.
Who absolutely hammed it up toward the end. Do you remember?
Yeah, okay. Oh, God, toward the end.
Yeah.
Marshall, oh, God, yeah.
He was quite a, yes, my lord, kind of...
that fella.
Guy.
He was comedying it up a treat.
And then when it got to the last couple of series where he last couple of episodes where he realised that the Marshal was a bit doolally and gone off on his own power-mad hunger... whatever mission.
Power hunger mad.
He goes to find the Doctor. He's been told to go and find the Doctor, and he ends up on this
Zeus.
It's like the death thing, isn't it?
Oh, the realm like between everything and stuff. Yeah, where the Shadow's hiding. The third planet.
Yeah, and
it's like a spaceship that's between them all.
Yeah, and he finds the Doctor, and he's immediately like, "Well, this is all a bit scary. I'm going to follow the Doctor now."
Yeah,
and they've got those weird. Guns that... what did you say they were like?
They sort of look like... they look like
torches,
the ones with the handles on the back, the ones that are designed for like going into the loft or taking camping.
Yeah, and
because the Doctor's got a similar torch-esque device later as a tracker, and it's just like they've put a slightly see-through red bike light cover on the flask. Yeah, yeah. They're good props, but it's just like, I know what that is.
But he gets shot and he shoots things, and it's... his character changes so much in the last couple of episodes.
Well, he's only in properly, like, he's only really doing stuff in, like, episode 3 and 4, and he's just kind of around, like, in the background, with him and Merrick are sort of written out for a chunk of it.
You go on the other ship and wait there.
Goodbye.
Yeah, so it was all very strange.
The Shadow, of course, is serving at the Black Guardian, who's been helping out. He's been helping the Shadow communicate with the Marshal, which is shown on the other side of the mirror. We see this sort of like orange skull, like broadcasting through the mirror.
Yeah,
which is creepy. The Shadow's defeated. All's well that ends well. But
and I'm assuming that skull connected with the skull kind of mask thing that
it was aesthetic, I suppose. Wasn't it? Yeah. But we see that Astra, she gives herself in. She realizes it's her destiny, and she becomes
She doesn't really
the sixth segment.
I don't think she sees
what it's going to
happen.
be. Yeah. And she becomes the sixth segment, and the Doctor manages to get hold of it, and it's now completely at his and Romana's like command. And they leave, and they're like, right, what the hell do we do? I guess we get it back to the White Guardian. because ultimately the White Guardian wanted the key to time, said reset balance in the universe and keep it away from the Black Guardian longer. The reason why it was scattered and disguised as other things was so the Black Guardian would never find it. So the White Guardian appears on the screen, albeit looking different. He looks like he's dressed like the Time Lord President, because Romana originally was contacted by the Time Lord President, which we know was the White Guardian sending her off on the mission. But he's got a different face, and the Doctor doesn't seem fussed by it. And he talks to him, X, Y, Z, la 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 la. And he's like, right, can I have the key time and stuff? And they're like, yes. What are you going to do like with it? And he's like, oh, this, that, the other, la la, reset. And they're like, great. He says, and the Doctor sort of makes a point, so like it's a shame that Princess Astra had to give her life for this thingy.
Yeah.
And he's sort of like, a small price to pay for the balance of the universe. And that's when the Doctor twigs that, hang on, because the White Guardian is about balance in the universe. The White Guardian did not know that Astra... Like, he didn't know what the fragments are, because otherwise he'd tell him. So he did not know that one of them became a person.
Yeah.
He had no idea.
Yeah.
And obviously if the White Guardian knew that, he'd be like, God, that's horrible. Right, I'm going to work my magic or whatever, do this, that, and the other, and I'll bring her back.
Yeah.
But because the White Guardian doesn't react, the Doctor is like, okay. And he commands that the TARDIS shield... He's like, keep time, the TARDIS shield itself from the White Guardian. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on?
Do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, do absolutely nothing. And then the White Guardian is revealed to be the Black Guardian in disguise, who obviously has just followed them to this point. He's like, right, I'm going to take it from you. And the Doctor's like, well, you can't, because currently we command the key to time. Because he has that whole thing about talking about how absolute power could corrupt, where he sort of like acts like he's possessed or something. Romana's like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, I'm just saying, like, imagine if we did like, you know, and it's really weird. Because when I first watched it, I was like, is he being possessed? What's happening? And it's like, no, the Doctor's just making a point of being like, you're weird, right? If we were evil. He commands the key to time to disperse itself once more. Presumably one of those pieces becomes Princess Astra again. Because Princess Astra is restored. She meets with Merrick, and it's all soap opera-y. 6 weeks later. And the other 5 pieces will be somewhere else or something else. So the Black Guardian is not going to be able to find them. They make a point of breaking the wand, so that there's no technology at all now, because it was gifted to them by the White Guardian as the Time Lord President Romana. But it's broken, so there's no way to find the segments unless the White Guardian creates a new method. And then the Doctor inserts a randomizer into the TARDIS, so that wherever they go next, the Black Guardian's like, right, I'm going to find you, I'm going to rip your atoms to pieces and scatter them throughout the universe.
I'm going to kick your atoms.
And the Doctor's like, alright, cool. Randomizer, boom. Romana's like, why have you done that? He's like, because now I have no idea where we're going to end up. It's out of my hands and the TARDIS isn't selecting it, like it's just random. And if we don't know where we're going, how is the all-powerful, supposedly omnipotent Black Guardian going to know where we're going if he's got no method of tracking us? So the plan is they're going to just randomise for a bit and eventually lose him. And that's how the series ends. It feels weird because they don't go back to the White Guardian. The White Guardian doesn't participate, which is odd.
It is odd.
The White and the Black, does it make you feel slightly better, slightly more, not satisfied, but make you feel slightly less unsatisfied by this? To tell you that the White and Black Guardians do return in 2 seasons for a story.
Yeah, that makes. But I think it could have done with like a visit
to the
White.
4 seasons time.
Sorry. A visit to the White Guardian. The White Guardian's like, yes, it's better off separate.
Yeah. Just something. Or the White Guardian, like after he's done that, the White Guardian appears, vanquishes the Black Guardian, like puts him back, and is like, "You made the right decision. Thank you." Whatever. But yeah, it's an odd choice, and it makes it feel like there's one more story.
Yeah. It does. It did not in any way feel like the end.
The conclusion to the Armageddon Factor.
You know, of a story, let alone a whole series.
Yeah, the Armageddon Factor, which of course I think was the name given to like the calculations the computer is doing, because eventually everything's going to get destroyed. Like once the computer, because that was the thing they found out, the computer that was Zeos, after it had won the war with Atrios, was then going to carry on to just destroy everything else it could, which you realise fits in with the Black Guardian and the Shadows' like motivation. They just want to kill everything. That's all they live for. The destruction of the universe. So, that was the Key to Time. The first sort of story arc season of the original run. What was your favourite story? Can I have a guess? Hazard a guess. Your favourite story was the Androids of Terror still. Yeah.
It was so much fun.
As much fun as you had with Kroll, I think.
Kroll?
Careful. I think the Androids of Terror is still your favourite.
Yeah.
Ribos Operation second place?
Yeah.
Kroll third?
Yeah.
Armageddon Factor fourth?
Yeah.
Stones of Blood fifth?
Yeah.
Pirate Planet sixth?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Thanks. I'm impressed I remember all the titles. For years, I've never remembered all 6 titles for this series.
Well, they are right in front of you. So.
I was looking at them. I was like, ha ha ha! For me, my favourite is probably the Ribos Operation.
Yeah.
I love the Ribos Operation. On this rewatch, I really fell in love with it. I have a huge amount of love for the android Zatara. But I've got to fight its corner. I like the Pirate Planet quite a bit still. I used to think it was my favourite of this series. It definitely isn't my favourite of this series now. Ribos is. But there's enough in Pirate Planet that I still enjoy, and I think that might be because I know what's coming.
Okay.
Like, Douglas Adams is now the script editor and occasionally writes stories, and as a result, his DNA is there. It's in what's still to come. I mean, there are characters like reading articles written by characters from Hitchhikers in upcoming stories. Like, he starts to really toy around with the universe of Doctor Who.
I've got to admit, the pirate captain, whatever his name,
Pirate Captain. That's literally his name.
Oh,
the Pirate Captain.
It felt quite Zaphod Beeblebrock's kind of costume kind of thing. Esque.
Oh, right. Has it given you a desire to maybe revisit the Hitchhikers TV series?
Definitely. Loved it.
Because we've got the Blu-ray of that. We've not cracked it open yet.
Absolutely loved it. Loved the radio series.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to find that, have we, for a reasonable price?
Oh, is that? I thought his head wasn't showing up on camera. No, it always seems to turn up quite expensively. We could probably get it free on Audible.
Oh, actually, my dad gave us a copy of it, so what are you talking about?
Oh.
Yeah, because we used to listen to it on our way to Cornwall. We once got through pretty much nearly the whole thing because we were stuck in traffic for a long, long time.
Speaking of a long, long time, the key to time, segues. Did you enjoy the key to time as a season?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Which was your least favourite? Sorry.
Oh, my least favourite, probably the Stones of Blood, but I still like it. I don't think there's a story in this series I don't like, but the Stones of Blood is kind of,
Nah.
Like, the best stuff in it for me was when it was suddenly like sci-fi caught on a prison ship.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's only like the last episode and a half.
Yeah.
But hey. I think the Armageddon Factor could absolutely have been a 4-parter.
Yeah, definitely.
But I didn't dislike it. There's a lot of good ideas. Even the stuff in this where I'm like, yeah, sure. The ideas are really good.
Yeah.
Do you like the idea of them doing story arcs?
Yeah. It was quite enjoyable.
Do you want to know if there are any upcoming story arcs again? We have sort of loose trilogies coming up. So, season but next we have the E-Space trilogy, which is 3 Tom stories back to back that are all based around a plot.
Okay.
So that's kind of one. Tom's last 2 and Peter's first sort of form a loose trilogy.
Wait, how many series have we got left of Tom?
We have 2 more series of Tom.
I thought so.
17 and 18. There's a sort of a loose trilogy in Davison's era, the Black Guardian trilogy. So, sort of a sequel to this one. And also the 20th anniversary year kind of has a bit of a thread in it too. But then we don't get another proper kind of serialised, like this whole season's dedicated to one story, until Colin's last season, The Trial of a Time Lord.
Yeah.
Which is the name of the season. It's 4 separate stories that all take place from the same courtroom, like flashbacks and flash forwards and all this stuff.
I've seen clips of it.
So there is going to be more. I think in the classic run, my opinion, the best serial like arc in the classic run for my money, like not John stuck on Earth with Unit because that's really more a setting.
Yeah.
But is the Trial of a Time Lord. So I think that's the one that perfects the idea of these stories are interconnected. So I can't wait to see what you think about that. And I can't wait to see what you think about next season as well.
After Tom, it's completely unknown to me. I haven't seen it.
Never seen any Peter.
Never.
Not seen any Colin.
Single one.
You've
I've
seen some
one
Sylve.
of Sylvester.
Yeah.
But I haven't got a gauge for what kind of Doctor he is at that point.
Well, we're going to find out more soon. What are your thoughts on the Key to Time season? Let us know in the comments down below and make your predictions as to which stories you think Lucy is going to enjoy in season 17. Because coming up, my favourite story of the classic era. No one's as stupid as he looks. Goodbye!
The end.